Hey there guys, how's it going? I know it's been a while since I uploaded a video. The reason being is I've just had a lot on my plate recently. I'm one of those people that has to focus on one or two things at a time to get anything done. That's just how I am and what I do. And so basically the things I've had going on at the moment are, my main work up at Red Lodge Mountain, working with those guys, and then cleaning my house out, moving everything into my truck, and making sure I got everything ready for the summer, to go out there to Washington and work with those guys. And then on top of that, I've also been packing for a Green River trip through Deso and Gray, which I'll actually be getting there on these next few days actually. So basically it's Wednesday for me today, Wednesday the 14th. Friday I have to drive back up to Powell. I'm actually in Laramie right now visiting my folks. But yeah, Friday I'm back up to Powell early in the morning as soon as I can get up there. And then we leave Saturday to go down to the Green to float Deso and Gray with the college course, which I'm really excited about. It's awesome that I get to help out with this. I'm stoked for it. I've got stuff to do. Still, I got a meal to prep and a whole bunch of other stuff to do. But I wanted to take some time, sit down with you guys, because there have been some comments and questions about, what friction hitch I used in my Z-drag setup. Some people are saying, hey, that's not a Prusik, or I was expecting a Prusik type stuff like that. For anybody who did comment on those videos, thank you. You bring in some questions up there. You're definitely, definitely pointing some stuff out. And I'll talk about it a little bit. I did use what I would consider a hitch in the Prusik family. It wasn't the main Prusik itself. It was actually called the Climb Heist, and I'll actually tie that for you today. But there's a few things I want to go over before we get into that. Some people commented that, hey, I thought you used a Prusik knot. And the Prusik isn't a knot. It's not a knot. Tongue twister there. The difference between a knot and a hitch is a knot can basically hold itself. So I can tie an overhand knot into this guy real simple. So there's a knot, nice and tight in there, nice and simple. And it's going to hold on to itself. It's not going to go anywhere. But if you try to do a Prusik by itself, a hitch by itself, let's do a Clove Hitch by itself. And I'll actually use this pencil to demonstrate this real quick. But I'll tie a Clove Hitch onto this. Let's use this guy first. I actually have a nice Prusik loop here now, but I can tie a Clove Hitch onto this, and just by doing this, it'll basically demonstrate that a hitch needs something to hold on to. There's a pencil on the hitch itself, and this is just a simple Clove Hitch. This is basically the basic beginnings of starting the main Prusik, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But as you can tell, it's holding nice and tight there, but if I actually slide the pencil off of this, the whole thing will fall apart because there's nothing to hold it together, because it'll just fall right apart. Nothing holds it together. So that's the difference between a knot and a hitch. A knot can hold itself, like I said. You can tie a knot into this rope here, simple overhand knot. It holds itself. Easy peasy, nothing too complex about that. That's actually an overhand figure 8 knot, but hey, it's a knot. It holds on to itself. A hitch will not hold on to itself. It needs something to hold on to. So, that being covered, let's go over at least 2 different types of Prusiks I use. The first one being the standard Prusik. And like I said before, you just start out like you're tying a Clove Hitch. So I like to take my rope, put a loop through it here, and just start wrapping it. So you're just going to tie your basic Clove Hitch, which is pretty simple. Just going to take a loop, bite it, and then pass your rope through it just like that. And then from there, you can just keep on looping it. So I can space it out here a little bit and just keep looping the rope. It gets a little tight in there, but just keep looping your Prusik loop into the rope. It's around whatever it's holding. Like I said, this is a pencil, but you could do this on another piece of rope. That's what Prusiks are actually designed for. They're a friction hitch, which means they like to grab and hold friction. And this is the basic Prusik loop that lots of people will see, lots of people understand. There's nothing too complex about it. Pretty simple to tie. It can get a little messy if you do it too quick. And the great thing about this is it'll actually hold friction. I just pulled the pencil apart. It'll actually hold friction either direction, so I can't move it that way, and I can't move it this way either. It'll slide a little bit because the pencil is kind of slick. It's not like a rope, it doesn't have anything really to bite into. But as you can tell, it holds pretty fast. Not really sliding around too much, but slides a little bit on the pencil anyway. But that's your standard Prusik. Really simple. Basically, you're just gonna clip on that side and yeah, standard Prusik right there. And looking back at the video, this is the one I did not use. I thought I did. I'd actually tied a climb heist like I said before. And climb heist is a little bit easier in my opinion. I mean, the Prusik's a great friction hitch, but the climb heist is a little different. Instead of tying your clove hitch like you do, you're just gonna start wrapping the rope. So you can just lay your rope over here, take your lead end, this will be the end, you clip onto your anchor or whatever carabiner, and then just start wrapping the rope. You just wrap it, give it a couple good wraps here, at least a few. You know, depending on the diameter of the rope you're wrapping around, give it more than you need, or more than you think you need. You can always unwrap it later if you had too much. So I got a pretty good amount there, and then I'm just gonna tuck it back through here. Actually give it one more wrap because this pencil is pretty skinny. One more wrap through there, and then just pass the top of it through there, and that's your basic climb heist. And that's actually the friction hitch I tied, although this one is a little long. But basically the advantage of this over the Prusik is this is a directional friction hitch of sorts, meaning it'll hold friction going one direction. As you can tell, I can pull on this, and it's barely moving up the pencil really. Like I said, there's not much grip on this pencil, but if I go the other way, it moves right off of it. So it's a directional, and that's what I tied. So it's in the Prusik family, and there was a comment there saying, hey, I thought you tied a Prusik. There are quite a few different Prusik hitches out there. The climb heist is one of them, although it's got a different name. I would consider it a Prusik, at least in the Prusik family anyway. And there's a French Prusik, which, you know, gets a little bit, you know, it's not as complicated, but, you know, stick to what you know. You know, just having a standard thing throughout the entire world is nice to have, but just stick to what you know. And if you want to, you know, experiment with new knots and new Prusik hitches or anything like that, you know, it's great, but definitely to, you know, just be similar to everybody and help everybody out on the river, you know, stick to something common for sure. So for those of you who pointed that out in the video, thank you for that, and hope you guys have a good day.